Hey, it's Casey, and welcome to Casey's Safety Tips featuring Lorenzo. Hey, Lorenzo.
Yeah, Casey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So, I want to thank you for doing this project with me. You and I have had a lot of conversation about the things that we see in the photos posted on social media, dating websites, um, just I guess things that we share, whether we're texting or what have you. And we talked a little bit about how these things can pose issues and identify not only who a person is but their location. So I thought it would be kind of cool if we walked through a photo. Today's photo is going to be from my kitchen, but before I do that, let me tell folks why you so qualified to give safety tips.
All right, give it
So
give it to him.
yes, all right. So first and foremost, Lorenzo's got 35 years in law enforcement, or is it over 35 years in law enforcement?
Hmm.
Um, he's participated in the narcotics unit, vice and prostitution, gambling, liquor obscenity squad, specialized in weapons certification. I can vouch for that one because he taught me how to shoot a gun. I'm good at it. Anyway, specialized drivers training, training in human trafficking, domestic violence, active shooter training, civil disturbance, crisis intervention, and was the shop steward for 5 years. So there is no doubt that Lorenzo knows what he's talking about when he shares his safety tips. So,
That's right.
Lorenzo, ah, welcome to Casey Safety Tips featuring
Yeah,
Lorenzo.
that's good. Glad to be here. We have some good information for the people.
So, why don't you really quick kind of give the folks an idea as to how we sort of came up with this idea, or what was sort of the the motivation for wanting to do this?
Well, in law enforcement, we used a lot of people's photos and Facebook accounts to identify them and locate them. So, we need to get out here and tell these people what not to show and how to post proper photos that may not identify who they are, where they live, anything like that.
Yeah, so I can attest to the fact that I know I've looked at photos. I'm guilty. Okay, I'm gonna confess something here, y'all. I'm guilty of zooming in on photos and looking at the little details in a photo, looking at, there's a pile of something in the corner. I have zoomed in to see what that pile of stuff is in the corner. There's something written on the wall in the back. I've zoomed in to look at these
Hmm.
things. I know I'm not the only one, which is why I don't have a problem confessing it. But I would imagine this is what you're talking about when you say, law enforcement uses our photos to identify us.
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of reflection in those glasses that you be wearing, where you can see things, especially mirrored glasses. It's just like having a camera. You can see everything from addresses to, where you work, your kids, everything on there. So you have to be very cautious of the pictures that you take.
Well, so yeah, I know I'm super sensitive, and I know you have called me out a couple times.
Hmm. That's
I
right.
mean, for as sensitive as I am about what's in my photos, I do try to, before I immediately post, I do try to look at them real quick to see what I can see in the photo. And there have been a
Hmm.
few times I slipped up and you're like, Casey, I can see blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I'll take it down. Or,
Yeah.
or I've done something to hide that thing that would have identified my location, or, something
Hmm.
of that nature. Um, so we
That's
thought it
good.
thank Thank you very much, Lorenzo. But like I said, I still also
Hmm.
slip up. It happens. And so
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad
does.
that, I'm glad you're looking and letting me know in those instances where I missed something, because it's
Hmm.
important. And that being said, we did this exercise where you talked about the kinds
Hmm.
of things that you see when people post photos from, say, their kitchen, for example.
Yes.
And so I thought, okay, great. Let me go stand in my kitchen and, you call out the kinds of stuff that people have on their refrigerator, just the refrigerator alone. And
Hmm.
before we give the demonstration for the people, I went in the kitchen and we couldn't have used my refrigerator the way it was because there was
No,
no identifying items
and
on
that's a
my
good thing.
refrigerator. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
it honestly, it was something I just learned over time. Again, anybody who knows me knows if you anywhere near Casey, we gonna take a selfie. And
That's right.
so and so it's because of that I check a lot of things. If there's something in my photo that you can identify, I promise you it wasn't a mistake. I allowed that to be in there. But I
Mm.
also do spend a lot of time checking. And so I had to I had to fabricate the photo you're about to see because there wasn't nothing on
Yeah,
my fridge.
and that stress that point too. That all the information on the photo is incorrect. This
Yeah.
is not. This is not true information.
It's not. It's not. I'm gonna make sure that people know that that's not
Hmm.
really on my fridge. Which is why I'm
Yeah.
making a point now of telling folks I don't have anything on my fridge. Like if you ever came to my house, there's like a magnet, and you're gonna see the magnet in the photo. Um,
Hmm.
but at best, there's a notepad, and the only purpose the notepad serves is to write my grocery list.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I got nothing. Although that's a
Good.
lie. That's a lie. I take it back. I do have stuff, but it's on the side. It's on the side of my
Hmm.
refrigerator. And again, that was intentional on my part to put anything that could identify me that I want handy in a place where I never had to think twice it was going to, be a problem.
Yes.
But anyway,
Hmm.
so for tonight's demonstration, we're going to be in
Hmm.
Casey's kitchen looking at Casey's refrigerator.
All right.
So, first off,
Mm.
we've got, you can see the photo,
Yeah.
Lorenzo.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. The sheet of paper
Uh huh.
with important names and numbers on it. So if you were taking a selfie picture for social media, we could zoom in. And remember, everyone has the means to zoom into everything that's on your picture. But on there, I see your granny's number, mom at work. So right now, I have your parents' numbers, a neighbor's numbers, and a doctor's numbers.
Yeah.
And also, you have your calendar on there. So your calendar is going to show dates, times, and locations. You got your doctors, so people will know when your appointment is, your doctor's name. Looks like an office party. So they have the location where you'll be for the office party, date and time, and location. And these are some of the things that'll show up on your pictures.
Yeah. So, also the same day of my office party, my car goes in for service, you know.
Hmm. So
Um,
yeah, so it's an easy way waiting at a dealership or whatever the case is. People will track down what you drive, where you'll be, from doctors to neighbors to parents. It's too much information that's showing on this picture, and this isn't even as much as you see on a lot of refrigerators and a lot of pictures that I've seen on social media.
so, can you explain a little bit in more detail what the danger is? Like, how does a person see this? For example, let's use my doctor. I've got the doctor's number on the sheet of important numbers, and we see that I go see the doctor on Tuesday at 8:30. What could a person do with this kind of information?
To track you down, they could call your doctor, say that they're you, and someone's going to answer the phone. And if you told them that you had to send them some correspondence or something, let me get the address exactly right because I mess it up all the time. They're going to give you the address of the doctor. So you'll have the address, the time, and the doctor's name, and be able to be where you are going to be at that particular time.
Okay, which is a scary thought. That's a
Hmm.
scary thought. The other one that I thought was also significant was where it says Trumbull versus Fairfield, and that I'll be there, or somebody is going to be there at 7 p.m. So that's a high school game,
Yes.
which means that might be my kids might go to one of those schools.
Yeah. And the assumption might be made like that, that you have children and this is the school that they will be at. It'd probably be homeschool might be the top one that you put first, and that will give your location and then your status of children. You never want people to know about your children just from a photo that you're trying to post on social media. That's a little bit too much information.
And then what could they do with my neighbor's number? I mean, because granted, I probably have the neighbor's number on there for the benefit of my kids if they needed something and I wasn't at home. But what could they do with that?
They can call your neighbor. They have your name and can act as you or a friend of yours, and they might want to leave a package or this or whatever, and engage the neighbor in conversation. Depending on who your neighbor is, they may give all your information. You know, where this, that, where you live, what you drive, everything. Just it just depends. You don't want to put any identifying information, specifically phone numbers. A lot of people get calls from people and they assume that it's a legitimate call because you have my name and number. So you must have talked to somebody, that makes it legitimate. And that's a very dangerous thing to be taking a picture with these numbers, all the way to your parents' numbers. That is too much information on that refrigerator there. That's only a portion of what I see in a lot of photos.
Well, let's talk about that because I struggled to get those items on the refrigerator so that we could take the photo to talk about it. But what other kinds of items? Like, for example, I've said that, the kids go to one of those two schools. Is it possible that I might have pictures or what other thing could I possibly have on that refrigerator that maybe would connect to the schools?
A lot of things that I see on photos all the time is pictures of the kids posted on the refrigerator. They'll have kids' pictures, you'll have your pets' pictures on the refrigerator. These are things that can identify you or, your kids. You can be identified by a pet, especially if it's a very particular type of pet that you have. The neighborhood will know. You'll see magnets, a lot of magnets of places that you may frequent all the time will be on there. Magnets are used on all the refrigerators. You'll always post notes on your refrigerator of things to do. You may even put passcodes of things so that you can remember or that your kids can remember. And you'll
Wow.
list it right in the middle of your refrigerator. A lot of times it'll be at your kids' eye level
Okay.
if they're smaller kids. And that's a way of telling because you're not going to put a passcode down by your knees if you don't have a small kid. So things like that. Um, Report cards. A lot of people like to post report cards. So now you have the kid's name, the school, what grade they're in. That narrows down a lot. You'll put bills that need to be paid on there because that's a place you won't forget them. So now you have bill information, with an address like that. Your car keys may go on hooks on your refrigerator, and it may determine what type of car that you have. And a
Wow.
big one that I see a lot is your homeowner's information, lawn pickup, homeowner's phone number, for the community.
Mm.
That will tell the community you live and the phone number. And with some of those things, that it's easy to narrow in where you live at.
Wow.
That's, you know,
Wow. Okay. So
Mhm.
that's actually really kind of scary because you do see these things on a regular basis. I know you see these things on a regular basis, and many moons ago, I
Mhm.
was guilty of putting a lot of different things on my refrigerator that today I would never even contemplate doing. Um,
Mhm.
so, to sort of kind of pull this all together, what is your advice? What if someone was guilty of having this type of refrigerator? What would you tell them to do?
Well, the main thing, if you have to take a picture in your kitchen, just turn the other way. You don't have to have the refrigerator in the background. Before you take a picture, look and see what someone else will see. If you take a picture, look at it before you post the picture. And if you have to, send it to Casey Carter so she can look at your picture
And
and
tell
see what's
you,
in
oh,
there.
no, 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 you cannot post this. No.
Yeah, I mean, but you would be surprised. One big thing I also wanted to mention on the front of the refrigerator was business cards. Everyone has business cards on their refrigerator. So if I use a certain lawn service, someone can call them up and say, "Hey, I'm going to be a neighbor of such and such, and what time can I see you there? And what address do you want me to be at?" Before you know it, they will give your address over the
Wow.
phone.
Wow.
You know, yeah, everyone that you deal with, that you have a business card, if it seems as though that you were a reference for them, they will give an address. They will give information. They won't even think twice about it. And everyone has business cards on their refrigerator all
That's
over.
that is such a scary thought. Wow.
Yes.
Well, see, folks, this is why Casey and
Mhm.
Lorenzo were here. We're here not to like make you feel bad about the selfie you took in the kitchen and the reason you faced the fridge is because you didn't want nobody to see the pile of dishes in the sink. Guess what? Let them see the dishes or just wash the damn dishes. But either way, be conscious of what's posted on your refrigerator. Be conscious of all of the things laying around that show up in your photos. Just take a quick 30 to 60 seconds and scan the photo before you post it on social media. Like I said, I do it. I
Mhm.
miss things from time to time, but Lorenzo and I are here to be that little voice in your ear that says, don't post that. Don't post that. Take another shot,
Mhm.
move that out the way. It's not going to kill you to clear out all of the things that can identify who you are, where you're located, or people close to you that could possibly identify you. So,
Yes.
this is your first tip from Casey featuring, wait, featuring Lorenzo. We will be
Yes.
back with many more. Photo infractions is,
Mhm.
are you guilty
Vi-
of a photo violation?
Violations.
Yes. Are you guilty of a
Mhm.
photo violation? Don't be guilty of a photo violation. But anyway,
Mhm.
all right. So that's your first tip. Come back, check out some more of our safety tips featuring Lore- Lorenzo. Ah. All right.
That's right.
Thanks. Say goodnight, Lorenzo.
Good night to all.
Thank you for watching Casey's Safety Tips featuring Lorenzo. Follow Lorenzo on Twitter at Lorenzo2920 and on Instagram at LorenzoG2920. Follow Casey Carter at www.casey-carter.com, on Twitter at ReadCaseyCarter, and on Instagram at The Casey Carter Experience.